Hi, this is my first discussion post for Psych 525. My name is David Bordak. I want to begin shortly by just wishing everybody the best of luck throughout the course. I'm very interested in seeing what everybody has to contribute and learn from each other as we go throughout the course. For this post, I selected the second prompt, which was, I just can't trust psychology. I mean, most of the theorists are secular. The only trustworthy source of truth is the Bible. I chose this because I was raised in a very fundamental hardline church, which this was the way of thinking, more or less, in that church, where it was the Bible and only the Bible, and there was very, very little talked about as far as psychology or science or mental health or things of that nature. So as I grew out of that church in my college years, I was very enlightened and to different ways of thinking in different areas that were not talked about as much as I grew up. So I selected this because it kind of hit home with me. And really what it boils down to is one of two things. Is it Christianity and psychology, or is it Christianity or psychology? And I selected two quotes to illustrate this in a relatively simplified way. The first is, what indeed has Athens to do with Jerusalem, which is Athens representing science and Jerusalem representing theology, meaning what do these two have to do with each other? They should be kept separate and be exclusive from one another. The second quote is from a secular turned Christian, Francis Collins, who's the director of Human Genome Project and National Institute of Health, in which he says God can be found in either the cathedral, or God can be found in the cathedral or in the laboratory, meaning God can be found anywhere, no matter what. I chose two models and one view that will come after to represent the initial prompt in this discussion post. The first is the enemies model, which is an antagonistic model that would argue that psychology and theology are mutually exclusive and should remain that way. It's a very strict either-or model in which an individual will find themselves either as a secular combatant or a Christian combatant, depending on which view they wholeheartedly are committed to, from either the psychology or psychological standpoint or the theological standpoint. The second model is the allies model, that rather than employing an either-or approach, the allies model argues that God is sovereign over both Christian theology and psychology. There's a unity of truth here in which all truth is equally as important. Just as Genesis 1:1 is truthful and an important verse, so is the fact that I'm a 30-year-old male with two sons and a daughter. Both are truthful and both are equally as important. Both psychology and theology are God's subjects under this model, meaning that God serves over both and that they both work for and towards his purposes and means. And we see this in Scripture. Romans 11:36 says, "For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever." And in Colossians 1:16 and 17 we see, "For in him all things were created, things in heaven and in earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." A similar view, the integration view, I selected also, which kind of tags with the allies model, surmising that despite the Bible being the ultimate truth of God, it does not provide us all that we need to know in understanding human beings, and allows for strategic use of psychology and science to better serve and improve humanity's condition. It is necessary under this view to integrate both psychology and theological truth. And some of those areas for human condition being improved are found in developmental psychology, which we'll learn about even more so in this upcoming semester. In the opening chapter of our text, you see a lot of the areas that we will learn about that are listed in the second paragraph here: views of human nature and worldview, qualitative or quantitative development, nature versus nurture's impact on development, and what exactly is developing, are all areas that we need to be considering as we go throughout this course, and also when we're looking at tagging psychology and theology together. Some key summary points from this short discussion post are: integration between psychology and Christianity is not only possible, but it is also necessary. Even the best human efforts will fall short. All truth is subject ultimately to God's sovereignty, and despite humanity's shortcomings, we can still rely on human psychological domains for assistance in accordance with and in addition to biblical authority. And then here are my references for this post. I'll leave these on here as I conclude. And like I said, thank you for your time and for everybody's posts that they'll have here. And I look forward to the ability to respond and also get responses on my video. So best of luck throughout the course. Thank you.